Welcome back. With us now is Bill Fruth, the president of POLICOM Corporation. Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Hey, thank you for inviting me.
Tell us about what you do.
I analyze local and state economies around the United States, determine if they are growing or declining. I then identify what's causing that to happen, then offer ideas and solutions to communities to improve their local economy.
So you collect data to analyze regional economies. How do you collect the data?
Well, I use several different data sources, but principally we take standard government data out of the Bureau of Economic Analysis, and anyone can get this data. But what we do is add value to it. We understand the nature of what the numbers mean, and we study those numbers, and then we can deduce from that the nature of your local economy to identify whether it's strong or weak, growing or declining, and then try to identify what could improve your local economy.
You recently analyzed the Warren County economy. Tell us about those results.
Well, it's very interesting that because every county in the United States is different. And so we look at your economy, we've seen that you have grown in size at a reasonable rate for the last 20 years. This is the result of several different reasons. One, you obviously have the university, which is a stable employer, and that imports a lot of money to the area. And you've had a very stable and growing manufacturing sector. And we first have to understand why local economies grow or decline. They grow and decline in direct proportion to the amount of money being imported to the local area. And the money is imported through your primary industries. They're the ones that sell their goods or services outside the area, importing wealth to the community. Now, after it's imported, that money is mixed and churned within the local economy. Typically, only about 5% of your businesses import money to the economy, and 95% of the businesses feed upon this money. So what has happened in your economy is that you have had some good growth in your manufacturing sector, and that is your biggest primary employer. State government is your second biggest primary employer, and believe it or not, corporate headquarters is your third largest primary employer, importing wealth to the economy. Now, there's a couple good things happening. One, you have created an industrial park that is really very good. I say it's good because if a community does not have industrial property, it has no chance of growing economically and will actually begin to decline if you don't have industrial property. Two, your university is cooperating as a team member in the growth of your economy. Believe it or not, in only 1 out of every 10 university communities, the university is working to help build the economy, and this is one of them, and that's very important. And third, you have a very well-organized worker training program in Warren County. The second most important thing for economic growth is the availability of trained or trainable labor. And I think that you've done very well at setting up training programs. There's still work to be done, but you've done very well at that.
So what do we need to do next to strengthen our economy?
Well, Bowling Green and Warren County actually is in a very good position for quality economic growth. And I say that because of several things. One, you have an interstate highway. You have a quality industrial park. You have a university that's cooperating. So I think that your economy is on the point of evolving to something special. When I say special, is that you can now begin to attract and grow your own high-wage employers. And that's one of the keys. Overall wages in the county, when compared to the other metropolitan areas, are relatively low. Although you've created a large number of jobs, it is now time for your economy to grow in quality. You have some very good high-wage employers. We now need to get more of them. And you can do that. There's a lot of competition. You know, there are 10,000 communities out there all trying to recruit the same companies. But the combination of your university, your land, and your training programs, you have this opportunity to get your existing companies to expand and also to recruit new quality companies here. There are, only a handful of communities, maybe a handful, this is a big country, but you have certain assets here that you can capitalize on and use to improve the quality of life so to speak, for all residents to have a better economic future.
What role does a professional economic development team play in the economy?
It is a characteristic of the strongest economies in the United States to have had active, well-financed economic development organizations for many years. There are few, if any, communities out there that have had economic growth that also did not have an economic development program. Some have happened by accident. Some state capitals have grown, and they, only because they're state capital that they've done very well. But I have not been able to identify a community that has had economic growth that also did not have an economic development program. And that's one of those things that a community must have: active, well-financed economic development program if you're going to have a growing economy.
Do you see one thing that could be pivotal toward the future of our economy?
I think that you have an opportunity, and the opportunity is the relationship between the university and the community regarding economic development. As I mentioned before, it's only maybe in 1 in 10 university communities where this occurs, but where it has occurred, there has been dynamic economic growth. So we have right now a cooperative university. They've done an excellent job of creating an incubator and startup programs and research programs. Any efforts that you can make, say at a state level, to help the university, Western Kentucky University, to add additional research activities, I think could be very, very important, because we have a strong manufacturing sector, and if we can grow the high-tech type research sector also, you have two horses running in that race, so to speak. We are in Kentucky. That could really cause a dynamic thing to happen.
Bill, thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing this wonderful information.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and I'm very impressed with the Bowling Green and Warren County economy and the people that I've met.